Well, coming to you like a hot Texas ninja tumbleweed barreling through the Wi-Fi waves of the internet and bouncing off a satellite dish somewhere, we're your hosts, Lauren Hoffman and
Bob Ratliff.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Slanted Sandwich, here to serve you weird news at noon to make your every Monday lunch hour more rockin'.
Mm-hmm. This is a morning show for college kids.
Well, even non-college kids, too.
When they wake up. Good morning.
Good morning. Today we're going to talk about a range of unusual topics from hydrogen metals, super soldiers, giant insects, graphene, diamonds, morphic resonance. I mean, hopefully we can cover all of this. But first, let's tune into our latest headlines. Take it away, Bob.
Oh, we're talking about the death metal chickens?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, first off, there's a special school for these chickens, the Xavier X school for mutant chickens. This is a mutant chicken here we're talking about.
Yeah.
The most metal chicken in the world. It has black bones, black meat, and a black heart. This is from nautil.us, Nautilus. And it says, almost 400 years after the Dutch tulip craze drove prices from some flowers to ridiculous heights, legions of U.S. poultry fanciers are now obsessing over another unusual breeding product, a chicken called Ayam Samani.
Ayam
Samani. That's, finally, a cool chicken name, right? Ayam Samani.
It's pretty death metal.
It goes with it. Yeah. So the bird has an inky black. It is inky black from the tip of its comb to the end of its claws, with blue-black skin, jet black eyes, and a black tongue. It is covered in shimmering metallic black feathers, and even its internal organs are black. It is one Goth chicken.
All right, Bob. You're the chicken expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the only person who knows why the chicken actually crossed the road.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
The best kept secrets are.
dot.
Yeah. All right. We don't have to get into the details here. It's just some stuff. If you have chickens, you know. You know what's up.
Okay. So what's a comb?
That's the thing on top of their head.
Okay. So it's literally like a comb stuck on the top of their head.
Yeah. It's got black giblets. You should see its thing's giblets.
Yeah, we were reading about that it had
every part of it is black.
It's crazy. If you get a chance, go just, G-slap,
inside and out.
Black chicken, and it'll pop up on your news.
Yep. Well, hold on. Now this is
Did you check your phone, Bob? For
yeah,
more,
of course.
For
check my phone.
Yeah.
I'll check it.
Chick.
It's behind me. Yeah, I have it. Okay, here we go. I actually found more information.
Did you? Good.
We can do that now. We have the
Great.
technology.
It's at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could show you all this. Just like
I know. Instead, you have to describe it. That's the radio.
I have to describe it.
Yeah.
It's really black all over and inside out. Just the whole thing.
It's a chicken.
It's organs.
Really black.
They could have stopped. They'd be like, it's got a regular pink kidney. But no, all black the whole way through. You cut a chainsaw right through this thing. It's going to be black on the inside, too. That's how black.
Yeah, but apparently they're not eating it. They
don't even, well, of course, no. They don't even eat it. They don't even eat it. They're just like.
Would it taste like regular chicken, though, you think?
I don't know. It tastes like chicken. That was the big joke. It was like, you just killed $1,000 chicken.
It's like a bottle of Cristal.
Right, yeah. What are we eating tonight? Black chicken breast.
A 4-ounce, $2,000 meal.
Well, okay, so there's some other stuff here. It says this breed was developed in Indonesia, but due to concerns over avian flu, the U.S. Department of Agriculture bans direct imports from that nation. So Indonesia can't, let's see, U.S. Department of Agriculture bans direct imports from that. So somehow or another, you're going to have to smuggle these black chickens in. I don't know how you're going to get them, but you need these in your life. They have a slimming effect. They match everything.
Yeah, oh gosh, Bob, okay.
At least until we get orange chickens.
Okay, but what does it say about the genes? Like, why is it, like, something about...
They're mutants.
The 2 genes, right, that mutated and one was flipped backwards or something?
Yeah, it says Samanis are not the only black birds, but most of the others have pink tongues and deep brown eyes, along with regular-looking innards and normal hues. And so they're talking about, okay, let's see what...
It's like the black sheep. There's like, no, I'm the black sheep. And then you have all these other faux black sheep. They're not really black sheep.
Don't settle for faux black sheep. These black sheep have black organs. They're black. They're just black and the inside and out, and then just... Oh, they're so metal. They go with everything. They have a slimming effect.
Oh, man.
But yeah, the phenomenon of internal blackness is called fibromelanosis. There you have it. Now you know everything.
Now you know. Yeah, that's all you need to know. All right. Okay, moving on.
No, we're not.
No, we're not
Because it
moving on.
seems to only occur in 3 other oddball breeds. The Swedish Bohusandals Svartonta.
Your mic is totally peeking
That's how it's
out.
pronounced. I'm going to get this one more time. I'm going to try this one more time just to make sure it's pronounced. It's the Swedish Bohuslandals Svartona. The Vietnamese Black Hmong, and the Silky, an ancient breed of fluffy 5-toed chickens with feathers that look like hair. And anyway, you should check this stuff out. This is important. You know about the? Did you ever hear about? It's called the Super Bastard Breeding Program. It's officially called the Super Bastard Breeding Program. It's a chicken program where they take chickens from all different breeds that are selectively bred for their feathers or this or that or their large breast or whatever it is, and they mix it up, and they're like 20-something generations deep in this program, and they're like, yeah, we've created these really awesome chickens. They're have incredible immune systems. They're like 3 times stronger than other chickens. They're just really just like super soldier chickens. Souped up chickens.
Yeah, well, that will be a good segue for later when we talk about super soldiers.
I'm alluding to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready to move on now?
Yes. I can talk about chickens all day long. You want to talk about some chickens? I want to talk about it.
5.
All right.
Chickens. Okay. So, all right. Next article. So, how a 1-year space mission affected astronaut twin Scott Kelly. Early results from space.com. So, spending a year in space affected former NASA astronaut Scott Kelly's body in subtle but potentially significant ways, new research suggests. Kelly and cosmonaut Mikhail Kornienko, I hope I'm saying that right, flew the first ever year-long mission aboard the International Space Station, wrapping up the flight with a touchdown on the steppes of Kazakhstan last March. The goal of the project, which is ongoing in the data analysis phase, is to gauge the physiological and psychological impacts of long-duration spaceflight to help prepare for crew missions to Mars and other distant destinations. Part of this work involves Scott Kelly's identical twin brother, Mark, a former NASA astronaut who flew on 4 space shuttle missions. Mark stayed on the ground during Scott's year-long flight, serving as an experimental control that would allow scientists to detect genetic changes that spaceflight induced in Scott. So I can bring that up on my phone now.
Oh, yeah. Technology.
I didn't get a chance to look at what those effects were.
Okay, so what they're saying is that being in outer space, in a shuttle, has some effect on your DNA. Or they want to know if being in outer space has some effect on your DNA.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They might have a reason to suspect that it does, because outer space is totally radioactive.
I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff we can't see that, you know.
Did you know that it gets hotter, like the further up you go? Further up, like the Andes Mountain is equally as radioactive as Chernobyl.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh, yeah. Like the higher up you go.
Because of the sun, I'm guessing? Is this sun?
And then there's like the mesothermo. Come on, brain. Kick in the...
Something.
It has, all the different layers of a stratosphere.
Oh, okay.
Thermosphere, thermostratosphere.
Mesosphere.
It gets hotter. The higher you go up, it gets hotter and hotter. Like all the molecules, they keep vibrating quicker and quicker.
Those jazz crystals we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it says here multiple research teams are working to suss out some changes as part of the NASA twin study, and the early results which scientists detailed last week.
Ionosphere.
For example, one. I've got this background guy over here. For example, one team found that the telomeres, the regions at the ends of chromosomes in Scott Kelly's white blood cells, got longer during the mission. Telomeres help protect chromosomes from deterioration, and they get shorter over the decades as people age.
That actually sounds like an improvement.
Yeah.
Like this guy could live longer because he spent some time out in space.
Yeah, I wonder how...
Is that why all these astronauts are just like taking forever to pass away? They're just like got these incredibly super beefed up telomeres. Check out my telomeres.
Yeah, but those telomeres probably shorten the minute they start talking about UFOs in space or something.
We gotta take this guy out. He knows too much. We're gonna shorten the heck out of your telomeres.
So Scott's telomere lengthening could be linked to increased exercise and reduced caloric intake during the mission, NASA officials wrote in a description of the newly announced findings. So,
I'd get so bored in space. Like, there'd be all that tang and all that powdered stuff, and I'd just, like, eat it all the first day, and then be like, I'm really hungry, and they wouldn't know what to do. I'd just be floating around in space hungry, and be like, I got, like, 9 more months to go. I ate all the tang.
Make sure you eat it with a straw, because else that powder is just going to go everywhere.
You didn't ration this at all, did you? Oh, I was bored. I just kept going to the fridge.
All right, so that's what I have for twin studies in space, Bob. Go. Okay, you're next.
Oh, more news than your mind has room for. What were we talking about? Fukushima?
Yeah.
Oh, that's depressing.
We were just talking about radiation and gene mutations, so this should be an interesting article.
Yeah. Record radiation level detected inside of damaged Fukushima reactor from JapanToday.com. And it says a record radiation level has been detected inside the number 2 reactor at the damaged Fukushima Daiichi nuclear complex, with the estimated reading up to 530 sieverts per hour, the plant operator said Thursday. The reading means a person could die from even brief exposure, highlighting the difficulties ahead as the government and Tokyo Electric Power Company Holdings, Inc. grope their way towards dismantling all 3 reactors that melted down in March 2011 nuclear disaster. The plant operator also announced that based on the image analysis, a 1 square meter hole has been found on a metal grating beneath the reactor pressure vessel, likely caused by melted nuclear fuel that fell through the vessel. The new radiation level, described by some experts as unimaginable, far exceeds 73 sieverts per hour, and previously highest radiation reading monitored in the interior of the reactor. According to the Institute, 4 sieverts of radiation exposure could kill 1 in 2 people. And okay, so let's go back. That's 530 sieverts per hour, so nobody's messing with that, right? And it says experts say 1,000 millisieverts, which equals 1 sievert, could lead to infertility, loss of hair, and cataracts, while exposure to radiation doses above 100 millisieverts increases the risk of cancer.
Hold that thought, Bob. We'll expand on this when we come back from the break. It's that time, so hang tight. KZSM.org's live streaming is here to feed the brains of Central Texas with entertaining, educating, and enlightening content, whether it be a music show or creative banter. Thanks for tuning in. All right, we're back with the Slanted Sandwich. I'm Lauren Hoffman, and
I'm Bob Ratliff.
Yes, and we're talking about the latest Wierd headlines right now, but then eventually we'll be going into some casual talk and also superhuman soldiers and graphene and interesting metals. So we were just talking about the
Fukushima,
the latest depressing news about the Fukushima
Talk
reactor.
about an interesting metal.
Yeah, I think
that's a metal that you literally look at it and you die. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
It's a Medusa. It's a Medusa.
It is. I mean, I remember that day, like so vividly. It was crazy. I still think about that.
Yeah.
I still watch videos too, just how big those waves were. I mean, crazy. Anyway, so
that's right.
Yeah.
It was a tsunami.
Yeah,
what damaged
huge.
It was a huge tsunami, and it hit the reactor and screwed it all up. Mm-hmm. Man.
Yeah, that was back in 2011, I think.
Yeah, March 2011.
Yeah, they still have not solved this problem.
It's almost unsolvable. They would have to use a different type of. You can't do it with humans. Humans don't do well with death. They don't. They can't.
They don't do.
They don't do well with that at all. You need like robots. You need a totally different type of technology to even deal with that.
That was one of my questions. Was if it affects people, would it affect robots? I mean, I guess not.
They sent initially just for the cleanup. The older men volunteered to work that weren't going to have to worry about fertility issues. They just like sacrifice their lives.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
That was one of the most intense stories.
I mean, I just keep reading articles about how alarming it is, how high these levels are. It's like going out into the Pacific Ocean. But I mean, it would be nice to get a scientist on the show or somebody who could go and elaborate on the effects of all that. I mean, I don't know if people are experiencing on a personal level effects from this or not, Like, are they going to talk about it? I don't know.
No, they're pretty hush-hush about a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. They have a kind of idea that you can just take a secret to your grave. Like, they're just, yeah.
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 All right.
Whistleblowing is not a major Japanese thing, from what I've been told.
Whistleblowing.
Yeah, because that was messed up. Like, it was one of those deals where it shouldn't have happened, right? It was the lowest bidder, and things were in disrepair. And then
right. Like that reactor was supposed to withstand, that. Never say never. Okay, so last article. So there's a drone video exploring a massive crack that opened up in the Arizona desert. This is from Seeker.com. Back in 2014, Joseph Cook, a research geologist for the Arizona Geological Survey, was peering at Google Earth images of Arizona on his computer when a giant crack sprawling across the desert caught his eye. The size of this giant earth fissure warranted an in-person visit, especially after heavy rains in 2014 and again in 2016, causing the crack to grow. When Cook went out to the spot in Tater Hills in Pinal Country.
Tater Hills?
Dude, I'm not even gonna take this.
Who named that? What do you call them hills?
Not real
Them's is
news.
Tater Hills.
It's like your key to
I'm
knowing.
so sorry. This place is
No.
blowing up with fissures. And
No, it's not just that.
that's a
It's,
problem that only Tater Hills could have.
no, it's not just that. Tater Hills in Pinal County.
Pinal County.
I don't know if I
Oh,
pronounced
it gets
it
worse. No. This is deliberate. Taters in Pinal County, Tater Hills, Pinal County. What sort of sophomoric
I don't think anybody thought like
person
news would
named
happen out
this
there.
place?
I don't know. Anyways, well, the crack is about 12 miles south of Arizona City and 18 miles west of Red Rock, where Cook walked along this enormous crack, measuring it to be nearly 2 miles long. It was really, okay, quoted from him.
Tater Hills has a crack problem?
But still need to
We
get
need
that.
the badoom sound.
I know. I need to get the drum cadence. I got to make a sound file.
This is so ghetto.
I know. Well, or that, or we bring a drum.
Just give me one. I just need a clicker that badoom.
You need to have that with you at all times.
Yeah.
Bob.
And a bleep one. I'm having to try really hard not to bleep. I want a bleep and a badoom choosh. 2 clickers in each hand.
Okay. Anyway,
need.
yeah. All right.
More on Tater Hill.
Okay. This is what he says. It was really deep, up to 30 feet deep in some spots, and had very sharp edges, he said. And in some areas, the crack was 10 feet wide. Earth fissures usually occur in response to land subsidence, which is the gradual settling or sudden sinking of the Earth's surface, oftentimes caused by declining groundwater levels. Cook's theory is that Arizona's fissure problem is a symptom of the area's overuse of groundwater, mostly for agriculture. He added that in some parts of Arizona, the ground surface is roughly 18 feet lower today than it was in the 1950s. So you know.
What was going on is they're taking all the water where it is and putting it where it ain't.
like underneath all these land like things.
Yeah. Couldn't have said
on,
it better
brain.
myself.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Anyway, so that's it for our articles. Anything else, Bob?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you were talking about your dream.
I had a weird dream last
I want to
night.
know about it.
It's kind of embarrassing, but that's okay. That's normal.
Yeah.
I was going to somebody's like bridal shower thing, like a bachelorette party or something, and I'm dropping off these gigantic Mayan eccentric flint sculptures, 2 of them, and it's just going over like lead balloons. Like they're like, yeah, whatever, you do that all the time. Like, don't even. I'm like, no, these are the best ones I've ever done in my life. Right? And then I.
Just to brief the listeners, Bob is a flint napper.
Yeah.
So just in case you didn't know.
I break rocks, big sculptures. And so I'm just giving this gift for this wedding, as a wedding gift. There's 2 of them, and it's the most amazing thing. And
Are they like ice sculptures? Are they that size? Like huge?
These were big ones. In my
Yeah.
dream, everything's bigger. It was,
Flint napped a huge boulder.
yeah, it was like 2.5 feet tall. It was so amazing. And they're like, yeah, whatever, you do that. Like, I was like, no, this took forever. Anyway, I got in with a little person. She was beautiful, but so for some reason the word midget came up, and she looked at me like just the worst look ever, and I was like, she's like, it's little people. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm a fan. Like, I have gone to midget wrestling, and like I support that. And she's like, yeah, that's like the circus. That's like where that word came from. Like,
Oh, she grilled you, huh?
she grilled me, and
Dump.
anyway, it was bad news, and that was my dream.
You needed that bleep button back.
I needed
Bob.
that one and the badoom.
We're in trouble now.
I know.
All right. Okay. Anyways.
I got grilled by a little person, so I'll have to. This is I felt bad. That's what it is. It was coming from my emotional. It's like, I've been using the wrong word the whole time. I've been saying midgets instead of little people.
I'm sure that other people are kind of having dreams like that. Everybody's having to be vigilant about what they're saying. about what they're saying and how they, and there's cultural appropriation too, and it's.
I try so hard, but I mean, oh my God, no one bats
the
1,000.
heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
Your heart's in the right place. Okay. Yeah. And so what came of this? Is that it? You went into the dance, or excuse me, the wedding with this little person?
Yeah, I was trying to do.
Little lady.
Trying to do right. No, she was behind me. I couldn't see her.
Oh, okay.
I think she was.
She was after you with the.
Kind of surprised me. I didn't know she was there.
Keep him in shape.
Yeah, I got chastised pretty fierce.
Oh, man. Okay. Anyways, well, we are about due for a break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about these interesting super soldiers and interesting metals, stuff that I don't know that Bob does. And so we'll get to listen to him educate us. If you like farmers markets and supporting small business, if you're in the area, come check out the KZSM booth on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and come help support your local community radio. And the choice is yours. That's the great thing about community radio. You get to pick what you want to listen to. Or if you're interested in becoming a DJ yourself, great place to start. Go to kzsm.org/donate and help keep community radio alive. We're back with the Slanted Sandwich. I'm Lauren Hoffman.
Hey, I'm Bob Ratliff.
Yes, and we were just talking about the latest weird news, and now we're going into the topic of today, which is a medley of different things. Bob, take it away.
Oh, we're talking about the sandwich? What are we talking about?
Not yet. We're not talking about the sandwich yet. We're going into our topics of
Super soldiers.
Yeah, what do you want to
hydrogen metals.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Golly, hydrogen. Man, everybody. Okay, here's the thing, guys. We live in Facebook land, okay? And I got tagged so many times in this hydrogen gas. They're like, you need to know about hydrogen. This is the most breaking physics thing about hydrogen and the whole thing. And so I checked it out, and you see, the thing is like stars. You get your stars, and they're made of like hydrogen, and then they like crunch down into helium and different heavier elements. All the stuff that you see around you, it comes from stars, and the stars blow up, and it's supernovas. At any rate, so check it out. That's how it works.
Are you channeling somebody, Bob?
I'm trying to stall y'all while I look up this thing. Yeah, because I was like, okay, I can talk about super soldiers. I can talk about this hydrogen thing. This is me mumbling. My internal monologue is just like a mumbling person in the background. It's just like, and I misspelled hydrogen. I spelled it hydrogen, and that didn't help. It's like, did you mean?
I'm sure some of us wouldn't even know. We'll be like, hydrogen, okay.
Well, the thing about it is that they condensed it down. Hydrogen metals. Let's see if I can. I'm just Googling things so you don't have to.
Well, just off the top of your head, it's another one of those questions. Is it a real substance, or is this something that's kind of interdimensional? Again.
Man, this stuff's got more dimensions than your body's got room for.
I mean, Bob, you're the expert.
Got so many dimensions.
You're well seasoned with past lives. You probably know one thing or two.
Metallic hydrogen. Yeah. Okay. Now, and here's the thing: is this? I'm getting mixed messages. This one says physicists doubt bold report of metallic hydrogen, and I'm getting a call from India.
I think that happened last time.
I got nothing for you, India. And then, what is the other one? Egypt? I got a call. Something about the Slanted Sandwich. I get calls from around the world. And then I look them up later. I'm like, oh, I must be important. People are calling me from around the world. And then I look it up and I'm like, this guy is just a scammer.
Yeah, or something.
And I feel special for like 2 seconds till I look up who's calling. So, yeah, that's the whole thing. Everybody's been saying that metallic hydrogen is where they squeeze hydrogen so intensely that it turns into a metal, creating entirely new material. Then, so that, I mean, yeah, like that's.
And what is it used for?
For fuel. You can just get the hydrogen.
It's another source of fuel, basically.
It's the holy grail of high pressure physics, according to the Telegraph. But they, like, okay, so we're not. What are we using right now? Petroleum in our cars, right? So maybe we should just. I don't know if this is the
Put
answer.
a pressure
or not.
cooker
I just
or
think
something
that we should start
in
talking about
the
this
car
stuff a little bit. Right? We're like literally using old peat bog
Speaking of pressure,
in our car.
Bob, my dad is a huge fan of the pressure cooker.
Oh yeah.
Like we have toaster ovens and microwaves, but then there's this pressure cooker, and he is not changing a winning team. He will cook rice in that thing. He'll cook anything in it, and it doesn't take very long to make, and to heat up. That's why he likes it. Things cook really, really fast. So
we need to call something. Yeah, that's one of those search words that they're like, don't Google pressure cooker, or they'll know you're looking for pressure cookers. They turned somehow or another after the Boston Massacre. They started like tuning into that. Like, why do you want a pressure cooker so bad? I'm like,
we need to see an ID if you want to buy that.
Yeah. I want to make a brisket.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. Nope.
Okay.
We just red flagged you.
All right. Well, so what else do you have for us?
Well, it's okay. The thing about it is this superconductor. It's like conduct electricity. It's cool like that.
Okay.
There's that, and then this will be good for hydrogen cars. I just want to just briefly point a finger at an alternative energy just every once in a while, guys. Can we do that? Can we just go hey, let's talk about hydrogen for a second? We could totally use that. It comes from water. You can just take the hydrogen out of the water with electricity. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
We could just do that every once in a while and stop talking about gas like it's the end all and be all of fuels. I feel like the guy from Mad Max, the little person on top of the big person who's like, it's not pig poop, it's energy. That's kind of my bumper sticker, my motto.
It's energy. Oh boy, if all cars were run on methane, that would be one stinky place.
This place doesn't smell that great. I've been downtown Austin. It smells
It doesn't.
Funky.
You don't even.
That place could use a bath.
Oh, God. Anyways, okay. So, what about super soldiers, Bob?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I was watching some YouTube videos because that's where I get my truth. Is YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think a lot of people.
I was watching these interviews of different super soldiers. Or whatever, people who claim to have been in super soldier programs. Who was that one you turned me on to?
Oh, okay. So you want me to introduce you to
We'll just talk about this together.
Duncan O'Finian? Okay. Well, I was introduced to Duncan O'Finian back in, I think it was 2003 when my virgin conspiracy brain was, getting to listen to all these crazy things that I never heard about, and I still don't know if they're real or not, but interesting nonetheless. So this website had a huge collection of different videos of unusual government people talking about weird projects, and Duncan O'Finian was one of these. And I watched the interview a couple of times, and because it was just so crazy. So basically, I'll try to put it in a nutshell, but this man, Duncan, when he was a little boy, his parents, just kind of without, when you're little, you're not thinking about things that much, but he was taken to what looked like a big department store. His mom brought him in there and brought him into this random room. And in that room, there were 6 other kids or something, and they were given a puzzle. And they had to put it together, and based on how those kids put that puzzle together, determine which kids the government would eventually end up taking to do experiments on and study. And they were specifically looking for kids with high psychic ability or high mediumship. And apparently, and as Duncan O'Finian states it in the interview, he said, I'm Native American and Irish descent. And those are two really psychic,
he's got the genes for the ESP, baby.
Right.
He's tuned into the ESPN.
Like the Celtics were super psychic, very spiritual people. And, in Native American culture, I had the thought that, we don't use our intuition as much as we used to because we live in, regular now society, which is pretty safe in comparison to living out in nature and being worried about other tribes coming or getting hunted. But some people still have that ability. You have to have an intuition to sniff out, when you're in danger. Anyway, so he was already kind of pre-programmed with these abilities, and I mean, he was one of the kids that put this puzzle together the way that they wanted, and they took him through all this different training, in which, as an adult, he'd forgotten about. At some point, he quit that and thought he had a completely different life, was brainwashed, and got into a car accident. And then bit by bit, he had some head injury. And you're probably thinking, well, a head injury, you could probably, come up with some other ideas. Yeah, okay, maybe. But these other ideas are pretty elaborate. And I mean, they tortured this guy, and you can regardless if it's a government program or not, you can tell like this person has been through something crazy.
Like part of his training was them just messing with him to create like a controllable person.
Yeah, like he said he had this memory of being in the hallway with this training lady, and she was wanting him to pick up like a bucket of water with his mind, which ended up happening. I mean, these are really far-fetched stories, but, if anybody's going to try that, if anybody's really going to experiment with that, the government's probably going to do it. It's the same thing with John Ronson's book, The Men Who Stare at Goats. That book goes through all of that kind of stuff. So that's my super soldier, and
Well, this is the topic of the week. We've been trying to frantically go, what's going on with super soldiers? Like what is it? And so I was thinking, a lot of these guys, you watch the interviews and you're like, these are not steroided up freaks. So apparently, what they're calling a super soldier is something apparent. It's like blending into the population is a higher priority than standing out and being like, I'm the super soldier. And you see what I'm saying? They're like, what they're calling super, what defines super is not like muscles. They're like, no, the muscles don't hurt me. What hurts is when I poke you here and the pressure point and then you fall over and you're crying. I am the super soldier,
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger is a super soldier?
No. No.
That's who you're channeling right now.
Dad, that was an interesting story. Oh. If you read about Arnold Schwarzenegger's father.
Oh man, I want to know about it, but we're at a break. We have to go to break.
He was SS or whatever.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. If you're listening and I have your attention at kzsm.org live streaming, check out some of our other shows coming up this week. We have Vinyl Confessions with The Wiz from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Monday night or Tuesday morning. We also have Shattered Glass Radio with Jeremiah Wilkinson from 3 to 4 on Friday, and then going straight into his Trippin' with Jeremiah from 4 to 5 p.m. So one of those is like kind of a wrestling show, and one of them's a kind of a comedy show. And we also, of course, have the Martian Mommy on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from, I believe it's 8 to 10. And yeah, so we are back. I'm Lauren.
I'm Bob.
Yes, with the Slanted Sandwich, and we were just talking about super soldiers. And Bob, we left off with you. So.
Oh yeah, we were talking about.
You were listening to an interview on the way here.
Yeah, it was. What is his name? Andrew. his name? What was his name? I'll show you. I'll even say it. I'll even pronounce it. It's something O'Connell. Hold on. That was the first part of it. Oh, yeah. Aaron McCollum. Aaron McCollum. Yeah.
Well, there's an Irish name for you.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of these. He was talking about different bloodlines and different things like that, too.
Okay.
That kind of go into the programs, right? Mm-hmm. And so he was Coast Guard, and he was saying that there was like 2 different roles that he would have to fit into. And one of them was like Coast Guard, and the other was these other umbrella programs that he had to go into. And some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of like Stargate, actual Stargate. Like, oh, God, this is where it gets complicated. Because, okay, none of this is complex. None of this is easy stuff. But there's this idea that people have been talking about that a lot of things in movies, a lot of things in the mainstream are actual covers. Like, so Starship Troopers is this story about these people who go out into outer space and they fight the bugs, and there's these giant insects in outer space. And, it's just like one of those things. It's plausible. It's within the scope of reality of doable, actual, possible things that there would be big bug-looking things out there.
Okay.
And we got this movie called Starship Troopers, which is all about people who go out and fight the bugs, right? We don't really think of it as like a conquistador thing. It's like a thing that actually happens, right? Like, we don't think that we go, it's a movie.
So how do big bugs and big super soldiers, how do these connect?
Well, some of these super soldiers talk about this stuff. They're like, yeah, it's like this place was a tactical nightmare. We were fighting this thing, and then this, they looked like whatever. They're describing these giant bugs. Like, yeah, this is a problem. We got this
basically,
territory,
it's just
and
a bunch of Kafka, like these giant flies, right?
Yeah, they're fighting. I mean, that's just one of the things that they might have to fight, but like bugs. Like, it makes total sense to me. I'm like, if you had to go out and so there's like super soldiers, whatever that. What kind of umbrella term is that? But like, there's one guy, Tony Rodriguez. He was talking about the 20 and back program, and the 20 and back program is where you basically get picked up, and then he went through a lot of abuse, just like the other guy, and
they like purposely compartmentalize the brain. Like,
yeah.
they put you in torture just so...
Well, the reason why this other guy, Tony Rodriguez, got in the program was not because he had some special skill, but it was actually being punished because he insulted a child he went to school with, whose father was like in the Illuminati kind of situation, like a big up. And that night he got abducted, and then the next 20 years, it's a 20 and back program, and they regress you back to your basically they take you back to the night you were taken. And so he has memories, like when he was a child, he had memories of what he would look like in the future, sexual experiences, different things that like had happened in his adult state. And not only that, but he had not ever received even so much as like a middle school or high school education, or even like finished 5th grade. So the whole time he's going through this, he's doing this without education. Everybody's asking him like, why don't you know this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, this is really basic stuff and then so he gets back. This is it just messed him up so bad because when he came back, he was regressed into his 7-year-old self, and he couldn't remember where the bathroom was at school the next day. I mean, it just caused all sorts of issues. They're like, he's just didn't he imagine like one day you know where the bathroom is, and then he's talking to his parents like, oh, it's been so long, and they just don't even know what he's talking about. He's thankful to be back in his old body, but
what's his name again?
This was Tony Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. And
the whole thing about once he became privy that they couldn't kill him. Okay. Once he lost that fear, he realized that they were obligated to take him back to his original he got some news that was a deal. He fought these guys like the entire way back. Once he realized that they couldn't kill him, that they had to bring him back into his body in this 20-year back program, he fought them the entire way back, like screaming like, fine, you can like regress me, but I'm not forgetting. Oh, and he fought them like so hard on that. So they were able to do some things that blocked out and it chopped it up, but it like his brain kind of overcame it, and he's just like, but it really messed him up too.
So he's a super soldier in his mind, or
he became one for a long time. That was no, he didn't. He was exposed to super soldiers. He was a slave the whole way through. He had like the shock collar on. Like he saw super soldiers. He saw cosmic trades happening and all this kind of stuff of like how we're basically already out there.
I've always wondered about that. Like, if people who go randomly missing, are they just like kind of taken to be the people who do the dirty work? Like, you know, be the janitors, like, so they can't go out of this place and spoil secrets, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. What was that story you were saying about the guy who went missing and then he came back exactly a year later?
That was a while ago, and that is part of David Pilates work, and it's not Pilates like the exercise, but it's David Pilates missing 411. I mean, a lot of people think that you can disprove some of these claims. It's like he writes books about missing people in national forests, like under really unusual circumstances, and some of them you think, oh yeah, an animal drugged them off or whatever. But no, he tries to grab like the weirdest cases, and this one, just on the top of my head, maybe I'll bring it in next week. But a guy, it was winter. This man, probably not much older than Bob and I, just goes missing, and the police follow his tracks out into the middle of this lake, and there's no more tracks. There's no hole in the ice, no nothing. And they were thinking, okay, well, maybe the lake froze over, you know, and we'll just have to wait till spring, till he comes back, or till we can find him. And like a year later, his parents get a knock on his door, and it was him. And he refuses to talk about what happened. He won't talk about it. And oddly enough, he's like a clinical psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. And like, I remember David on an interview, he was like, I really just want to go and get an appointment with this guy just so I can pick his brain, because he won't talk. So, I mean, that's not really a super soldier thing, but it is under the realm of mysterious things that happen to people, you know?
Well, that was the thing with Tony Rodriguez. He was talking about, what he was talking about was seeing people who had to fight insects, like big insects. Now, he was still young, and they were trying to use him and other, I guess you could say like abducted youth, like as the kind of suicide bomber things against these things to like send out these decoys. Mm-hmm. And he got a message from one of them that was, we're not that dumb. You know, like and he actually had it was like a different sort of insect, that like a mantis thing, and he's like looking at him, and he drifts off into this dream state. He shows him his house when he's 7, and he's like, this is who you really are. And if I get the orders to kill you, I'll kill you. But I know who you really are. I know you're not just like you're not a
bad person. You're not trying to do anything.
Yeah. I know that you were being used for, and then this other thing came up to him and bit off, like, he's like, can I bite off his leg? And it did. And then they get into how tissue regeneration is nothing. Like, that's just very common technology. Like, in space, the ability to grow a new arm is nothing at all. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's not even...
So does this guy actually have, like, an amputated leg?
Yeah. It was growing back. It was, like, within 24, 40 hour, then you got a brand new leg.
What? I mean,
that is some of that. What do you mean? What? Like, that's one of that seems like a natural progression. Like, not even that far off. Like, I feel like the Earth could have that in like 300 or 400 years.
Like, Okay.
And they were talking about people who've been around for millions and millions of years. Like, we're already like, yeah, I can grow an ear on a rat. Like, what do you...
Yeah, I believe that. But I would still think that there would be some kind of indication, like some kind of scarring or something that would show that, you know, he'd at least had an amputated leg. I mean, there are people
It's probably
out there,
better than before, you know?
There are people out there who are dying to have, you know, new limbs. And they're probably, you know,
Let me just tell you, I stubbed my toe doing a backflip earlier this week.
Oh, Bob, it's time to go.
Oh, we gotta go. I can't even tell you about my. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't tell you about my rash. I'm gonna let you know a secret. There was no rash.
I'll at least let you say it while the music's going.
I don't. Yeah, I don't really have a rash, guys. I was just hoping that would hook you into watching the show. You are a bunch of freaks. You wanted to hear about my rash, but
he's
sorry,
fine.
not
There's
today.
no rash.
There's no rash.
All right. Everyone have a good week. We'll see you next time.